Pastor, how do we evangelize to the LGBTQ community?
The park in Singapore, and people actually take their kids to the park.
I'm from Malaysia. I think I've been to that park.
One time when it first came out, I had a best friend, and he was Christian, but we used to hang out all the time. And then when I told him I was gay, he stopped talking to me. So
really?
Yeah, literally.
So could I ask what you guys identify as? Like
Lesbians.
Lesbian? You guys are homosexuals, right? Just check, just guessing. Okay, alright. Are you guys part of the LGBTQ community?
Well, yeah.
I do a YouTube channel where I ask random people about religion and life and death and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to do it? Hour for my YouTube channel.
Oh shit, no way.
Yeah, I talk about life and religion.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow, you are so cool.
You guys want to do it?
No, we're good now. Thank you.
Oh, let's do it.
Alright, let's do it. Yeah, sure.
Sure, I'm down.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow, you are so cool. This is so LA.
I guess it is.
Wow, just never-
So let me start off with what do you think happens after we die? What happens to us? I get right to the point. No, I don't start talking about Jesus. But don't spend 10 minutes talking about useless small talk. What happens to us when we die? If you were to die tomorrow, do you think you would go to heaven? Is there life after death? Any one of these gets right to the point. And it's relevant because everybody has thought about it at some point in their lives.
I'm not ready for it.
I don't know.
I've been hearing so many different kinds of answers.
What have you heard?
Well, there are two main camps. Some believe in reincarnation and some people believe in heaven and hell.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think I grew up like with both, honestly. I've
Both?
heard reincarnation and I've heard, like, to be honest, mostly hell. Because
You know why we're laughing, right? You want to keep the mood light. Even if it's something serious like Christians bashing on homosexuals, saying fags go to hell. We see that in the media all the time. What the LGBTQ are really looking for is love and acceptance. There's a whole child psychology that deals with how kids become gay, and a lot of it deals with love and acceptance. So if you come off as judgmental or argumentative, they've been through it before and they don't want to hear it. If you want to go deeper into the psychology and history of the LGBTQ, I love this book by Richard Cohen, Understanding Our LGBTQ Loved Ones. There's a link in the description below.
Any conversation we have would always be turned into why we need to be Christian. And so it's like I just feel like that. It's just people shouldn't force things upon somebody else. That's why I felt this conversation was going into, but I was really happy to hear that it was not like that. So I was kind of like thinking about what you had to say. Because I was just gonna shut it down right away if you were gonna start talking about Christianity. I was like, no.
So don't start off as you versus them. No, let them feel that you're both on the same side, the side of truth. And you're just there to help them answer those important questions.
I don't know. I mean, it was interesting because, like, we grew up Buddhist. I remember going to, like, Buddhist temples, and they were talking about 7 layers of hell and shit. I'm like, bro, what? Okay.
I actually went to a Buddhist park where they actually showed, have you heard about these? Where they showed the, like, 7 levels of hell.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. 7 layers of hell. Yeah, I remember seeing, like, graphics of, like, they were like, if you sin with lying, they pull your tongue out.
No, really. There's a few Buddhist parks called hell parks, and it's crazy what they show. I went to one in Thailand, another one in Singapore, and it's wow. They actually show this to anybody, even little kids. And actually, you could click up here. I did an episode about hell in one of these parks.
Pull your tongue out.
Yeah, I went to the park in Singapore, and people actually take their kids to the park.
I'm from Malaysia. I think I've been to that park.
Yeah,
I probably have been there. Insane. Whoa. Wait, where did you grow up?
I grew up here in LA.
Okay. Okay. So you just happened to be visiting.
Well, I like traveling, so I'm like, that's very interesting. So I went to the park. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, no, I vividly remember that. I was a child. I went to the park as a child, and
I'm sure it traumatized you, man.
Yeah, that's why I remember it so vividly. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you're showing children like impaled on spikes and shit. Yeah, it was an insane experience.
Yeah, I bet. But then as I grew up, I changed to Christianity. My dad really didn't like that, but yeah, I started reading
Is your
the
dad
Bible.
still Buddhist?
No, he's a Christian now, but for the longest time he was atheist actually.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was Buddhist first, and then he became atheist, and then
Now Christian.
yeah.
Okay. Nice. So your dad's like okay with it, I'm assuming now?
Okay, he's okay with it now, but before, man, he was angry.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. What was he angry about?
But he was angry that I would believe in Christianity because we would talk a lot about the Bible, and I would tell him that there's a lot of archaeological proofs for the Bible. And then he would say, we had a lot of debates about that and everything. In evangelism, try to establish commonality, that we're similar. Okay, I'm not LGBTQ like you, and I don't pretend to be. But I used to have some similar beliefs about this or that. Oh, you're a Lakers fan too? Oh, you're a Celtics fan too? Did you grow up with Asian parents? Were you persecuted for your beliefs too? That's what I'm doing in the first 3 minutes. I'm making him feel that we're similar. Who cares that I went to a Buddhist hell park? I'm implying that I saw the same thing you saw, common ground. I'm assuming that his parents didn't understand him, like many in the LGBTQ. That's why I told how my atheist dad was against my beliefs. About these arguments, I'm establishing common ground. You have to give them vibes of love and acceptance, because almost every LGBTQ member has some religious baggage, persecution or trauma, some kind of negative experience. You have to understand that they're talking to you from a defensive position, and they don't want to relive the memories. This passenger describes this religious baggage.
Wait, what is your YouTube?
Oh, it's Pastor Jason Answers.
Yeah, like I was forced to go to Sunday school. It's so funny. I literally just finished talking to some friends about like Catholic guilt. I'm gay. And I didn't come out, and I'm 30 years old.
Okay.
And I only came out like 4 years ago. Like I definitely knew I was gay like all my life.
Okay. But you felt guilty because of your Catholic upbringing.
Yeah. And like even until this day, like the Catholic guilt is real. Like you're just like
I know about that.
Like your brain is ingrained. If like you did something bad, like you have to repent for it. And like what that looks like for me in my adult life right now, even when you're having like a really, really good time with something, you're almost like, oh, something's wrong. I'm not allowed to like have this much of a good time. So it's like, okay, maybe I need to like cut it back, or maybe I need to go on a run. Like I don't know, your brain starts to like think, okay, I need to go do something else. That's like to repent for my sins.
One time when it first came out, I had a best friend, and then he was Christian, but we used to hang out all the time. And then when I told him I was gay, he stopped talking to me. So
really?
Yeah, literally.
Even murders, they take them back.
Yeah.
But not homosexuals. I didn't kill anyone. So they take murders back, but they don't take me back.
When I was in Malaysia, I remember going to church, and I liked the fact that there was community, but I think what I was really looking for as a teen was like, is there a way for me to live my life as a gay person or a queer person? And at the time, I remember my friends were pretty adamant that like, oh, you know, if you were in my church, then that would be something you would have to fix or correct.
I see.
And I was like, okay, well, then that means that
to judge, to see who's in the in, who's in the out, who are we gonna crucify today. It's like that sort of thing. And I'm like, the shit that y'all preaching, that's not what y'all doing. So
Like, I literally don't think about God anymore. I grew up thinking about God, like, for fucking 24 years of my life. And it's fucking exhausting. Like, oh, I'm not gonna masturbate because God, or I'm not gonna do X, Y, and Z because of God. Like, I find that really, really oblivious.
Yeah, I agree. But you do know that Catholicism isn't the only way to think of God.
I know.
Yeah. I'm just guessing here. I'm not trying to psychoanalyze you or anything.
No, that's fine.
My guess
Let's
is that
chat.
maybe your reaction towards Catholic views on homosexuality, of course you disagree with that, so your reaction is get rid of all Catholic thoughts or beliefs and just start from scratch.
I think that's partially true, but not necessarily fully. Like, I don't hate or resent Catholicism just because they didn't accept the gays. I think I just don't fully agree with it in general. You know, the thought of we're all sinners, we grew up sinning, and like, if you sin, you have to like go confess and pray X amount of things. Like,
I noticed that when I talk to a lot of Catholics who grew up Catholic, a lot of them are really like against Catholicism because they grew up with, I guess, a negative experience.
I don't really have a problem with people that are Christian, but from what I've seen with Christian people, I've just known them to be very forceful.
I'm trying to disassociate the religious baggage from who God is. Your bad church experience shouldn't turn you away from who God is. Focus on God and the gospel instead of, hey, visit my church. Well, I believe that God is love. God knows that none of us are perfect. I mean, perfection doesn't lead anyone to heaven because no one's perfect. Yeah. I didn't say being gay is okay. Some liberal Christians are saying, oh yeah, gay is okay with God. No, homosexuality is sin. But I'm saying that we're all sinners and God's love has the power to forgive.
you know, obviously my opinion is highly biased off of you know,
Your experience.
my experience with Catholicism, but I'm also wary and understand that like other religions are similar.
What do you think happens after we die? What happens to us?
We just die.
Okay.
We stop living.
So it's more like an atheism point of view?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like regardless of what happens, I feel like life is finite here.
Okay. Yeah, life is finite here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
But you do feel like there's something out there, whether it's reincarnation and the Force, or whether it's the universe, or whether it's God. I mean, it's not just when you die, everything's over. Nothing.
I do think that. I mean, I did most of the time. I do feel like when I die, everything's over.
All right, I failed right there. But Romans chapter 1 tells me that everyone deep down inside knows that God exists. So most people, I get them to admit that there's gotta be something after they die. So I try again, because this is real. I feel like there is some kind of being that's there. You know, you don't feel that or anything? Maybe not.
I don't know. I mean, at points I do. I think it's just okay, and then you know what I mean. Like I think I feel it, and then so I guess that's the kind of part where I'm always like, you know.
That's hard. For me, it just feels like if there is a God, I want to know who this God is. And if there isn't a God, then nothing I do really matters. It's all about, you know, survival. So I believe in God not because I wish there was a God, but because I just feel like He's real.
If there is a God, then why would the Holocaust have happened? Like, if there was a benevolent, all-knowing God, why would He allow for the massacre of so many people?
Right. Yeah, I've heard some answers in Christianity, but yeah, that's a big question. Not even just the Holocaust, but even like people getting cancer, natural disasters of earthquakes.
It's true.
This is a classic objection regarding the problem of pain or the problem of evil. And yes, you could give a 10-minute logical response. And you could click up here to watch that video about God's sovereign will versus our free will at the second coming of Jesus. But instead, I did the emotional approach because it's also an emotional problem. How could a loving God allow that to happen? So instead of minimizing his common objection, I feel it with him. Yeah, I get it. Why do innocent people have to die? And then I have an emotional response. I have peace that God will make it right. Without talking about the second coming of Jesus or that the world will end, which will be an extra 10-minute conversation. My attitude is, I'm with you, man. I don't have all the answers, but God will make it right and He will punish what is wrong. Evil is not a problem for God. And you could tell that this response answers his soul. I guess sometimes what gives me peace is that if there is a real God out there, that He's a good God, and good isn't relative. Like the Nazis, their version of good, or ISIS, their version of good is not the real good. That there isn't a real absolute. And even when Asian hate was going on, even before it became like a big newsworthy thing, I had peace that the wrongdoers and evil people, including Nazis and all that, they will be judged by this God who has right and wrong.
Right.
That I don't know why sometimes why the Holocaust happened or why people die of earthquakes in Mexico, why so many innocent people have to suffer from cancer, but I know that God in the end will make things right. And in terms of justice, that He will give the wrongdoers their due, even if the law doesn't catch them. I mean, it's probably not the 7 levels of hell. It's probably not like that.
Yeah.
But there's justice.
Yeah. Huh. It is very, I guess now that even as you're describing it, I do feel like, oh wow, it is very like a peaceful thought to think of the fact that like, if there is no justice on this existence, that there is an ultimate judgment almost, right?
Yeah. In this ride, I couldn't get to the gospel message. I wish I had more time. But I wanted to make sure that I made progress to open that door, that your sin and your negative church experience doesn't close God's door for you. He doesn't expect perfection from people, that God is a God of love. I mean, I don't want to single out homosexuality or LGBTQ. I mean, there's plenty of drunks, alcoholics who can't change themselves, and because of that, they'll go to hell. No, I don't think God's like that. I think God understands what we go through, and if we truly want to be close to God, I think He'll open that door.
All
This is where you live?
Yes.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Well, you guys have a good night.
You too.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. And if you have any advice on how to evangelize to the LGBTQ, comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It makes a difference. And let me know what kind of videos you want to see. I'll be making more real-life evangelism videos. So until next time, check out these other videos.